Sure. All right, let's talk to Dr. Karyn Gordon now. Hi, how are ya?
It's so awesome.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. And I'm thinking there's no way we have room for that in our backyard.
We don't.
We have awesome.
30 by 40, so we could actually, if there was nothing else in the backyard, we could do it. But I don't want to be the one making the rink.
I know that looks
Leo
like a lot
would do that.
And it's kind of a guy's thing.
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. Listen, I'm very excited for this topic because we got a question in from a viewer about a couple breaking up with another couple. Karyn, this happens all the time, but how to do it the right way and figure it out. This is the question. My husband and I are close friends with another couple, but recently we started to feel like they were taking advantage of our friendship and taking us for granted, making plans with other couples and canceling our plans. My husband and I feel like we have to break up with them. And essentially, that's what you're doing. You're going through a breakup. How do you do it, though?
So I'm curious with our audience, with how many people have actually done this before. So put your hand up if you've actually had a breakup with either a friend or another couple. Put your hand up.
Anyone had a breakup?
No,
I see a couple of hands.
People are like this. They're like, yeah, I'm not putting my hand up all the way.
Because that other couple, maybe they haven't told the other couple and they're watching the show right now. They're like, we broke up?
That's right. They're like, that's why you're not calling me back. That's why. All right.
You did get my email. You're ignoring me.
Yeah, I think it happens. I think it happens a lot. Has that happened with you?
It has happened with us, actually. It has.
Yeah.
And you know, there are a couple of things we're going to be discussing in here that are interesting because you don't know if one of you wants to break up and one of you doesn't. Do you stay in touch with them, or are you being a traitor to your partner for still sticking around with this couple if you've decided to break up? So the first thing you have to do is just identify that there's a problem, right?
Identify a problem, and number one is you want to address the issue. I will tell you, in all the work that I've done with families, with couples, there are so many of us that are afraid to deal with conflict.
Right.
It's like we're afraid to address the issue.
Yeah.
And so often when I'm working with families, people are like, well, I don't want to raise it because I don't want to hurt their feelings, or they should know, right? Or we've been friends for so long, like we kind of make up all these excuses.
Right.
If friendships are such an investment.
Yeah.
And so my biggest recommendation is if you think that there's an issue, have the courage to raise it, because so many friendships could actually be salvaged if we actually had the courage, but a lot of people are afraid to do it.
I think we think our friendships are so fragile, and you know what? They're not.
Know.
They can stand it. But I'm saying this as someone who's actually afraid of confrontation.
Right.
So I totally get the people that don't want to dig up the dirty laundry and deal with it. It's a lot of headache.
It's a lot of headache.
Freaks me out.
Well, and also we just don't know. We don't know how the person's actually going to respond. But it really is one of the most loving things you can actually do is to have the courage to raise it. And like honestly, when we're trying to teach these skills to our kids, we've got to show them actually as adults how we have to do it.
I know. God, what a responsibility. Why do I have kids anyways?
Sort of like be the heavy.
We've got to do the right thing.
Yeah. So that's kind of number one. So tip number two is, and it's kind of with what you said, a lot of times people kind of, when you actually have, another couple that you're hanging out with a lot of times, and let's say there's conflict kind of like that particular email, we kind of think in black and white terms. We either stay together or we don't stay together. And I think it's actually healthy to separate it. So that as a couple, like let's say you and Leo are friends with another couple and you want to maintain the friendship and he doesn't. It's actually okay for you to do that. Okay. And a lot of people don't think it is, and it's actually okay. You are your own person. You're a couple, but you're also your own person.
But what if the reason why you are breaking up is because of something they've done to your partner? Then you're a traitor.
Well, it depends though. Like, so you and Leo, and I'm just using these. Sorry, Tracy.
No, go ahead. Me and Leo. Go on.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but like let's say again, if it's with you and Leo, and let's say a couple has actually done something to you, it may not really bother you. Maybe it really bothers Leo, but maybe it doesn't bother you. Each person has the choice whether or not they want to continue the relationship or they don't.
Because you're two separate people.
You're two separate
brains.
Yes. And last time I was on the show, we talked about how we each have different needs, and certain things may not bother you. Some things may actually bother him. And so it's actually very healthy to think of ourselves like, is this going to be a couple friend, or maybe it's just going to be my own individual friend.
Right.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be, and honestly, it actually takes off the pressure versus, oh crap, my partner doesn't want to be friends with him anymore, but that's okay. I can actually I can still do that.
Still hang out.
You know what? Actually, this actually comes up a lot when couples actually divorce.
Oh, right.
Right?
That's a tough one.
And a lot of times people are like, well, I have to either be friends with both couple or just one of them, but you can actually just do one.
Because you feel like you're taking sides. That's the problem.
Yes. Okay, so let's say you decide that you want to continue the friendship. Leo doesn't, just hypothetically. There's no real situation here. Then the tip number 3 is you want to actually plan in advance of how you're actually going to respond. Because let's say you decide that you actually want to continue the friendship.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you that if you go out with the other female, she's going to raise it.
Yes.
So you have to plan in advance, how are you actually going to respond?
So, by the way, Leo is just never going to be here again.
Right. So that would be a direct...
He's busy always when I see you.
He's always busy, and he never answers his phone, and he never responds to his emails. So that would be one way of actually responding. What you don't want is you don't want to get triangled into the situation. Okay, so let's say, again, it's with you guys and the other couple. Let's say he's upset, but you don't really care. It hasn't really bothered you.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you don't get kind of sucked into the drama. So what I recommend is you encourage Leo to address it with the couple.
Oh, I see.
And if he refuses, then you can either say neutral or really nothing at all.
But I'm not speaking on his behalf.
Exactly.
He is his own person.
That's right.
He's a grown-up.
Yes. You are
all
not
I can
the
say
messenger.
is I'm here and I'm your friend.
Yes. And you can address it. So if, let's say, your friend brings it up, you're like, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. This is awkward, but as individually, I want to maintain my friendship with you.
Yeah.
I really have encouraged my spouse to talk to your spouse or to your spouse. But you can also call him as well. So let's kind of keep that separate.
So don't just say Leo hates your guts.
Exactly. Tracy, you are a great student.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Talk to Leo. He'll tell you he hates your guts.
You honestly, because a lot of times people play the messenger. You're not the messenger.
No, and that puts you in a very awkward situation. Interesting. Has that ever happened with you guys?
Yes, and actually, you know what? This is the wonderful thing about couples. We've had situations happen with couples where I'm upset about something and Brent's not really upset. And the wonderful thing about spouses is that they interpret things differently and they see things different. And I'm a feeler and Brent's a thinker, and so sometimes I can personalize things, right? And he's like, Karyn, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, you know what? It really isn't that big of a deal. So
I like that.
Right? It's so great to kind of bounce things off of. But bottom line is, if you're going to have a long-term friendship, I'm just telling you right now, you are going to have conflict. So just make it part of your friendship culture that you're actually going to address it.